Good evening, everybody. This is the Perchy here from the Perchy TV. How are we all doing? I have been treated by a mate of mine, Ken. Welcome back onto the show, mate. We're going to talk all things Tottenham Brentford after crazy news today with Tottenham. Loads going on. Loads to talk about with you guys as well. And guys, welcome to the show. If you're in the comments, guys, make sure you like on your way in and put any questions you want in and we'll talk about them now. Mate, welcome to the show. Let's first talk about it. We'll talk about Spurs Brentford now. As an outsider, and the news broke earlier on today, and it all went a bit crazy in the Spurs world, that Daniel Levy has accepted 120 million euros for Harry Kane. First of all, mate, what are your thoughts on that, and how are you?
Yeah, really good, Perch. Great to be back on the show.
Always good, always welcome.
Yeah, good to have you nice and early on in the season as well. Great to be here and talking about next game. But so as far as I know, Spurs have accepted a bid. What do I think of that? Well, you've got two options, haven't you? You can either accept the bid and get rid of him now, or have him for a year and lose him at the end for free. And if I'm honest, if I was a Spurs fan right now, I'd rather cash in, get the money, reinvest, instead of selling for free. But, of course, if he wants to sign a new contract, then happy days. But I don't think he wants to, does he? Or does he? What's going on?
That's my position. It's been with this whole situation from day dot. From when it all sort of came out, the first thing I said was either you sell him or he signs a new deal. Well, I think for me at the moment, that's always been my position. And the fee was that from what I believe, from what Daniel Levy the fee was £100 million. We've now got that offer, £104 million. It's 120 million euros. The offer's there, so the offer's been accepted. It's now the ball's in Harry Kane's court. I mean, I'm a bit confused about the situation now that there's talk that he doesn't want to do the move. An unnamed club has now come into it. It's all gone a bit mad. But obviously, from back then, it was with the Harry Kane saga was if he plays against Brentford, he stays. That's what we were told. If he plays against Brentford, he's not going anywhere. So now that's where it kind of ties straight into what's going on at Brentford. So we don't know if our number 10 is going to be playing or if he isn't. James Maddison's still not got a shirt number yet. All the speculation is that if Kane goes, he'll get the number 10. They've got to confirm it today, so we're not sure now with him. Everyone else has now got a shirt number except James Maddison right now.
I think to be honest, Harry Kane's been with you for how many years now? You're going into the same thing every season. He's your one only hope, as it were. You're still not. With all greatest respect, you're still not winning anything. If I was a Spurs fan,
that's fair.
Or even as an outsider, if you got rid of Harry Kane now, I'd be thinking, I'm worried about Tottenham now. With that money you have to reinvest in the squad, I'd be worried about how Spurs would go in the future. But actually, being a rival fan, as it were, the best outcome for me would be to see Harry Kane stay at Spurs, run out his contract, go for free, and I think you're going to be in a far worse position. So to be honest, if you sell him, get that money in, I think it's going to be a bit of a short-term pain because obviously you've not got anyone to fill that role. I mean, I know you've got Richarlison, and to be fair, Richarlison, he's been very cold with Spurs, but we all know what he's like on his day, and especially against Brentford over the years, Everton, he's been an absolute menace, an absolute nightmare. And actually, I feel quite scared about Richarlison playing against us this weekend.
Really, you're worried about Richarlison? Really?
Yeah. I think he's great. I think he gets stuck in, he gets involved. But the thing is, with Richarlison, you have to appreciate he's always been in Harry Kane's shadow, and when he does come on for Tottenham, you can tell he's just trying too hard. But if you actually give him the number one spot and that guaranteed position, you might get a different player out of it. And if you've got 120 million on top of that, or 100 million, whatever it is in pounds, you're in quite a powerful position.
Yeah, the one thing I will say about Richarlison, where I criticise his goal scoring ability, I struggle. He doesn't score enough goals for me. But the one thing I will say about him is he works this system really well. He works hard. He presses high. And I was at the Barcelona game the other day, and he worked his arse off. He should have scored should have scored a great chance, and to make it 3-1. But for me, I'm just now at this point with the Harry Kane saga. Is listen, if we get 100 million quid for him now, go and reinvest it. Go and look at the likes of a Gift Orban again. Go and look at improving our defence problems we've got. I mean, that's the key one. I mean, we brought in Van der Ven. What are your thoughts on him, the signing of Van der Ven?
To be honest, I know very little about him. But, good. Looks quite good from videos I've seen and things like that. I think that's definitely the sort of signings you want to see Tottenham making, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I don't feel their transfer business has been that bad this summer. I mean, you've got rid of Winks as well, haven't you? For
Harry Winks went for 10 million quid when Maddison came the other way for 40. So it was a net 30 million quid in the end.
And Maddison's another great signing, I think Maddison's been a great. Made some shrewd signings so far.
We brought in Vicario from Empoli, the goalkeeper. He's one of those. He's very mustard in our fan base. Some people go, "Oh, he's rubbish. Oh, he's this." And I sit back and I go, "He's not the end of the world." I think people get very. I thought none of the goals he's conceded in pre-season have anything to do with him. I don't think he's done that badly in pre-season. When you're playing behind Eric Dyer and Davinson Sanchez, making constant mistakes. Sergio Reguilon made errors as well in the game against Barcelona. Yeah, your hands are tied as a goalkeeper. We were after your goalkeeper in David Raya. Looks like he's going down the road to Arsenal on loan. What happened? What was going on there with this loan deal? What do you know about it? I was very confused. You're not so adamant as a club that wanted to sell him for 40 million quid. Now you're loaning him to get 27 down the line?
Well, the Arsenal fans are a weird bunch, I must say.
Don't say that again.
I mean, they're definitely strange in how they sort of see things. But basically, Arsenal have got themselves a great deal because they've got a player on a £3 million loan with an obligation to buy at the end of it if they like him for 27 million. So potentially Brentford getting 30 million. However, what we've then also done is we've extended his contract with us.
Right, okay.
And the reason we've done that is so, if we do get the £3 million and they don't want to buy him at the end of it, this time next year, we're in exactly the same position where he's got a year left on his deal and we're looking to get a £25 million fee. I suppose at the end of the day, if he really flops at Arsenal, we've always got the option of having him back as our number one keeper if our new keeper doesn't do well. So I think the person that's missed out on that deal or been screwed over is probably actually David Raya himself.
Probably, yeah. I mean,
because at the end of it, he either gets in that Arsenal team number one and he's an Arsenal player at the end of it, or he never gets in, and in a year's time he's stuck at Brentford again, lower valued and probably a bit trapped in where he can go. But then Real Madrid have come in today for him as well.
So is that I was just about to bring up. I was going to bring up Real Madrid. Obviously, they're now looking for a goalkeeper because Courtois got his cruise ship now. Do you think Real Madrid will make a late move? I thought the Arsenal thing was done and dusted.
No, it's not. So I've got some close contacts with the club, and basically, Real Madrid are obviously out there looking for a keeper quite urgently. David De Gea is the obvious option, but I know David Raya's agent's now in touch with Real Madrid. So it might be that they want him. It could be that it's a replica deal to Arsenal and Raya goes to Real Madrid instead because Raya is a
guaranteed to start, is he?
Yeah, lifelong Madrid fan and Spanish, obviously, and in the Spanish team. So that
would be quite funny because I've had a lot of Arsenal fans give me a lot of jib and a lot of stick about the whole David Raya thing, and I try when you try and explain to people when you take out a rivalry, and I've tried to be very balanced with it, and I said, well, it's all about the economics of football. Brentford knew that Tottenham were desperate for a goalkeeper. We knew that they knew Hugo Lloris wasn't going to be our goalkeeper. Even though he's still at the club, he won't be our goalkeeper anymore. But they knew it. So they were holding out for 40 million quid. Spurs behind the scenes got a goalkeeper sorted under the radar. Boom. And then, but I said, he hadn't signed at the time, he hadn't signed a contract. So he was out in less than 12 months on a free. Brentford were never going to allow him to go for free, like at the end of the season. So they're going to have to sell him. And then Arsenal was swooping, going that they got him for 30, blah, blah, blah. And I went, well, yeah, but Spurs fans wouldn't have accepted us not to have a goalkeeper at pre-season. So it goes in swings and roundabouts. I think people lose sight of it. It's very tribalistic when it comes to it. People miss the sort of understanding of it all. Who have you guys signed this window? Because I've seen a few names. I like Nathan Collins. I think that's an absolute shrewd bit of business. Who else have you guys gone and signed?
It's been a pretty quiet summer, to be honest. The key thing is, other than Raya and obviously Tony being banned, we've not lost anybody. But yeah, we signed Flecken.
I saw that. Yeah, that was you signed him. You signed him at the end of last season, didn't you?
Yeah, really early signing that. So that's the Raya replacement, and very mixed reviews about him. Very dodgy pre-season. Lots of sort of errors, but actually overall, apart from quite a few clangers, he's actually looked quite solid. You do, if it's just a settling in thing, but we'll see as the season pans out. And obviously, we've been quite sort of spoiled having Raya for season after season, who's just solid every game. Nathan Collins, another one. But again, in our sort of 4-3-3 formation, which I think we're going with a lot more now. I don't think he actually makes the starting lineup with Pinnock and me at the back.
Right,
but he's a solid player. It's obviously proven at Premier League level. But it'd be interesting to see what we do, because we paid 25 million for him. So we've seen something there for Collins.
Oh yes. Sorry. Oh yeah. So I think Nathan Collins is a good buy. He was one of them on the list I would have been happy to get in as a sort of a squad centre half. But I think he's a really good buy. I think it's a good buy.
Yeah, and the one I'm really excited about, and I mentioned it in our last sort of chat in the other game in May, is Sharda. We've now made a permanent.
Yeah.
25 mil. Everyone, especially the Fulham fans down the road, another strange bunch, sort of laugh at how he's scored no goals, which is true, but I'm telling you now, that boy's gonna, once he gets one goal in, he's gonna score so many goals in. And I've just seen the comment at the bottom. Don't forget Romeo Beckham.
Yeah.
What a sign of a beast. Yeah, so we'll probably put him on the right wing against you boys, just so he can whip a few balls in.
Has he got the number 7 yet?
Yeah. We're giving him number 7. But no, on a serious note, he's actually got a very David Beckham-esque free kick style. He banged one in the other week, but I think that's more of a publicity stunt signing him. To be honest, but you never know. We'll see what happens. But
what are your expectations for this season with Brentford? Because you look at last season, you got progressed really well, solid top half finish realistically. Just missed out on Europe, finished just below us slightly. But what are your expectations now moving forward for next season with you guys? Because it'd be interesting to see like where you guys go. Because where do you see yourselves this season? Are you looking to creep into maybe the Conference League or?
Yeah, well, the thing is, you weigh it up and you think, well, Tony's gone. Can someone step up to the plate? It looks like on Sunday, I think Wissa will be starting in his place. He's just not the long-term answer. He's not got the strength, the prowess of Tony. Sharda, I think, does, but whether he kicks it off first game of the season, I think it would probably take him 5 or 6 games to really get going. Looking at other players that we bought from last year who are kind of getting up to speed now, the likes of Damsgaard. As one example, he's now looking a lot more like that player who was for Denmark in the Euros.
Good player, Damsgaard. I think he'll come good.
I personally think we're obviously going to want to push for Europa Conference, but I think realistically, if we got 10th position again, that's a really good season. I think, but we all know what the Premier League's like. It can. the league can so easily suck you in, and you just can't predict who's going to be down there. But when I look at other squads around in the league, I see a lot of squads there who have got worse year on year. Look at Wolves. Wolves are quite weak.
In trouble. I think Wolves are one of my teams to go down this year.
Yeah, Sheffield United have come up and had the heart ripped out of them, losing Berger and
they lost Berger and Ndiaye. They lost, but they've just signed. It's going to really annoy me now. They've just signed someone recently. I thought it was goodbye. That's going to annoy me now. It's just come off me. I have to go and find it. But yeah, they just signed someone recently, which was the replacement for Ndiaye. I think.
How Tottenham going to do? How are Tottenham?
Tottenham's a weird one. I've been very realistic in my approach with Tottenham this year. It's a good point. I've always said, and everyone on my channel knows what my theory with the Tottenham this year is. Realistically, I've got no expectations. I want to see the system with Postecoglou grow. I'm really, really excited with him. I like what he's done at Tottenham. It's a breath of fresh air now after playing some of those boring football I've ever seen last season. Like, it was mind-numbingly boring, and we were losing games anyway. So it was like everyone was going, "Oh yeah, but we're having to play like this because of the players." Now the same players are playing in this attacking formation. So it was really frustrating on my part on that. But I just sit back and look and go, do you know what? I just want a bit of optimism, and I'm getting that with Postecoglou. He speaks really well. He comes across really well. I'm just. As I said, I don't really have major expectations. I think we'll finish there or thereabouts where we were last year. Anything in between, really, 5th and 8th. And I'm not massively against it, because I think we have to. The one thing the Spurs fans won't do, and any in the chat, let me know your comments on it, because I think the impatiency from our fan base at the moment is going to be the decision maker, because people need to be patient here. We're starting a whole new thing again. I think we bought well in the window. I think we're going to keep going in the window now if Kane goes. Again, I think we'll finish. I'd like to see a nice cup run this year. Do you know what? Go on, give us a go on a cup run and go. We're not in Europe, so we've got less games. Got some of the rubbish out and start again. Really.
I think you're spot on.
I think we need to be a bit more sensible and realistic as a fan base. I think our fans need to remember we're not in the Champions League final anymore. I think we've got fans that still think that we're that club that were knocking on the door with Europe's elite. We're not that team anymore. A lot of them are going to go. We're going to probably have only a few left in the squad from that team. Now let's look forward. Get rid of players like Højbjerg. Get rid of, if Kane wants to go, and you're getting 100 mil for him, that's 140 million quid on the table there that you can go and say, look, there you go. Go and buy a striker that can contribute 15 goals. Go and find a team now that's you're not relying on the 30-goal Harry Kane player. Go and find goals all around it. Even if 4 or 5 people score 10 plus goals, that's an improvement, right? I think that's what most clubs do. I think you guys are going to be in a very similar situation. You've not got Tony for half the season. So you've not got Tony for half the season. Now you've got to go, well, there you go. We've got to go and find goals elsewhere. Who do you think, where your goals going to come from this season? Well, at least up until January.
Well, the man we are pinning our hopes on is Brian and Bumo, mostly. I have to say, actually, I think I said it last time, we had the call, and since the World Cup in January or December, whenever it was, he's gone heaps and bounds, really improved. Coming back from some holidays and back in pre-season, even better. Looks sharp. He was actually giving me vibes of Salah in the first pre-season game. I was really taken aback how good he looks. I think that boy is gonna. I agree. I expect him to get 20 goals this season.
He's in my fantasy
team.
Against
you in May, didn't he? He's in mine. Yeah,
I think as a midfielder as well, it's a sensible one to put in.
Yeah, and I guess the other 2 players I'm thinking are going to help get the goals this season. One's Sharda. I really think he's going to once he gets going, I think he's got a real big clubs are going to take note of him. And the other man on the left wing for us will be Kane Lewis-Potter, who had quite an injury-ravaged season last year, but he's come back this pre-season. He looks a lot sharper. He looks Premier League ready. I expect him to start on Sunday as well, so keep an eye out for him.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I think it's going to be an interesting game of football. I think what you're going to have here, I think you're going to have where last season, I've said this a lot now, where last season we were very much all about us in the second half. We were crap in the first half, great in the second half. I think it's going to be the opposite, especially in the first half of the season. I think we're going to come out of the gates very quickly. I saw that against Barcelona when I was there, pressing high, pressing goalkeepers. This is what the one thing I missed when we were playing under Conte. We never pressed. Now I'm seeing us, as soon as a goalkeeper's got the ball, Richarlison's boom, he's up there, forcing a goalkeeper to make a decision very quickly. And we're going to catch people. We're going to catch goalkeepers out very quickly with that side, the way of playing. One thing I would say though is I'm going to say now our pre-season's been really hampered. I think we had a really, really poor pre-season. I'd like to get your thoughts on your pre-season, but for us at the moment, we played West Ham in Australia, then flew to Thailand and got a game called off because it got downpour. Then flew to Singapore and played some Lion City Sailors, and then had nothing for a week and a bit. Then played Shakhtar at our place, and then 2 days later played Barcelona. For me, I think we had a really, really, really poor pre-season, personally. I think it was hampered with so many other problems. Well, how did your pre-season go? You guys were over in America, right?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it wasn't ideal as well going over to America. So we had a pre-season game towards the end of July, and then it was like a 2.5 week gap before the next one.
Right.
Played against Fulham, Brighton, Villa. We played okay, I guess. Understandably, keeper, like I said, was a bit dodgy. But people obviously getting up to speed. We're playing a lot of youngsters. But then we then came back, and again there was like a 1.5 week break, and then we played Lille at home. And I don't know. Yeah, it seems like a massive distraction when we're playing abroad in these sort of like mini competitions. I think I do wonder how it's going to affect us, but I do think in previous years where we've had like a training camp in Austria somewhere, I feel like the team have been a lot more focused. There hasn't been that sort of media hype around it. It's just been a pure hardcore, get fit, get friendlies in,
Yeah, no, I agree. I get a lot of people give me sticks when I say I prefer pre-season, as you say, one area, one blockage, and you go, do you know what? We'll play local teams in our area, teams that are traveling around you, and you play them. I wouldn't have been against it. Like people said, oh yeah, fans from all these other countries want to see like Tottenham play, and I got shot down massively for saying I don't care. Like everyone goes, oh yeah, but that just sums you up, blah blah blah. You only care. I said, no, I care about the squad. Pre-season is about fitness, right? I feel like nowadays everyone takes pre-season so seriously. It's, oh my God, this play is this play is that. Pre-season was always about just getting players match fit, playing teams around. And listen, I haven't got a problem. If we went to Australia, I said, if we'd gone to Australia, I hadn't got a problem. If it meant we played, I don't know, Perth Glory, Brisbane Roar, all these sort of Australian teams and other teams that are traveling Australia, and you stick in one area. We were flying into this, that, and that, and all that, and it was going everywhere. For me, the pre-seasons killed us because we had this massive gap between playing the team in Singapore to playing Shakhtar Donetsk, and we had, I think it was like 12 days or something in between, and that for me really frustrated me. But it's one of those, and I think that's where we're going to struggle fitness-wise. We looked unfit against Barcelona, and we looked really, really good for 70 minutes. Last 20, we struggled big time.
Yeah, I mean, the bit I'm really intrigued about this weekend, I can see where the game's going to be won and lost, and it's Tottenham's new start of football. if you want to call it that. But I've seen a lot of playing out from the back, beating the press, and then that's how the attacks kind of run. I mean, being a Brentford fan and seeing how we play against that, you know, if that's how Spurs play this weekend, they're going to have to face a really sort of high press from us. And if they beat it, they've got every chance of getting in and creating lots of chances.
It's going to be two teams playing very. It's going to be two teams playing very similar. We're going to be pressing very high up to the front. You're going to have players like Kane or Richarlison, depending on who's going to be there, but we'll be pushing very, very high up, pressing high. My concern is on the other end. We brought in Van de Ven, but he hasn't played a game in this system. We've got Romero, who's a bit erratic. And then we've got wing backs or full backs, whatever you want to call them, in who's going to play. Emerson Royale's a bit of a question mark. Not sure about him. On the other end, you play Udogie, who, going forward's brilliant. Defensively, he's very suspect. My concern is getting in behind Tottenham and causing us problems on there. That's going to be my massive concern, because I think defensively that's going to be our massive Achilles heel at the moment. And I see the likes of Mbeumo, Wissa getting in behind of the likes of Romero, Royale, if he plays Reguilon, Udogie on the other end, Van de Ven if he starts, or it could be Eric Dyer, God forbid.
You won't have to worry about Wissa.
He's not very good.
Yeah, you won't have to worry about him. I'm hoping it's Shard who plays instead of him. The problem with Wissa, he's just not a physical enough presence. He hasn't got the pace, in all honesty. He looks like he does, but he doesn't. He's a very good, effective player off the bench. He's fantastic. Late in games when defence is tired, he comes on. He's got that. He gets that yard or two ahead of defenders and quicker to react to everyone else. But as a starter in games, he will struggle. So I'm kind of hoping or sort of expecting he won't start. But we'll see.
Yeah, big up Phil P. How are you doing, mate? I hope you're good. Guys, there was one. If you've got any questions, I pinned one here from earlier right at the beginning. I know you've got to go in about 10 or so minutes. It's not going to be a long stream anyway. But I'll ask this question first. Big up Juice Monkey over on the Twitch army. There's a few in the Twitch lot, not many. Get over on Twitch if you're not. All the links are just above there. Question. Don't you think that the whole situation with Kane is so predictable? Never wanted buy-in. Levy got desperate, agree a fee to make him look half decent, knowing Kane is seeing out a contract and joining a Prem rival on Twitter or a mega deal. There's a lot to unpack there. I will say this. I think Harry Kane wanted to go to Bayern Munich. I don't know what's the situation now. Players agreed terms and stuff way before all that. And the magic number was 100 million quid. If it gets to 100 million quid, then he's going. What is your thoughts, mate?
I think with Kane, he wants to leave. I personally think he hasn't managed to get the club that he thinks he can get. I think he would. If Man City come knocking on the door, he'd love to go to Man City. If it was Real Madrid, he'd love to go there. Maybe Barcelona, I don't know. But I think maybe he's been a bit underwhelmed by Bayern, and that, obviously they're a massive club, but the Bundesliga isn't the Premier League. It isn't La Liga. But
it's still a major trophy, though, isn't it? Winning a Bundesliga is not like a bad result. If you win that, you could win the treble. You could go and win the Pokal. You can go and win the Champions League with him. I think. Yeah,
exactly. But it's not Man City though. It's not Man United. I know that's probably going to rattle a few of you, but whilst Man United aren't winning Premier League titles, they are winning trophies, and I think that's what Harry Kane. He'd rather stay in the Premier League, but obviously Levy's not going to sell him to a Premier League club. But failing that,
if the fee's right, but you look around right now, and who's going to go and buy a Harry Kane right now? Who's going to buy a Harry Kane? Well, Man United have just gone and bought Højlund. Just bought Højlund.
I personally think if Harry Kane was 23, the whole market would be after him. But he's 30. He's not going to get better. Yeah, and people have to realise that he
No,
is
I
at his
agree.
peak, or he's going to get worse. He's not going to get better and better. And
Yeah.
that's why clubs won't stump up with 100+ million, because they will see it as a panic buy if they do that.
Yeah, I think Harry Kane, I said all along, I think the best thing for Harry Kane to do was to do nothing and wait it out. And then at the end of his contract, he can go wherever he wants. He'll have contract offers from everyone. You'll have the likes of Man City will go in for Harry Kane. Just imagine Harry Kane goes to Man City with Haaland and Kane up there. You might as well just give him the trophy already. Like, the title's done. But then you look at Europe. That will put Real Madrid in the conversation to go and say, well, Real Madrid will want him. If Barcelona let Lewandowski go, he might go and look at Barcelona. I think for Harry Kane, if we put Tottenham out of this conversation for a second and we talk about Harry Kane, for Harry Kane, the best thing to do is nothing, right? Do nothing, and you can go and do whatever you want in 12 months' time. Like, go and sit around and talk to everyone and go on then. You can come to the table when you put 400 grand on the table for me. That'll bring you to the conversation. After that, then we'll be talking about everything else. It'll bring you to the table. But I don't know. I think this when I saw the thing with Bayern Munich, I went, there you go, he's going now. But you know, when you see the reports, when you go, bid's been accepted, and then you go, Kane will be flying to Munich in the next 24 hours to have a medical, blah, blah, blah. That hasn't happened. So that tells me that something else has happened, because all these transfers, when we read about them, we're normally 24, 48 hours behind what has actually happened. I think this would have been accepted a couple of days ago. We're hearing about it now, but that's when you go, well, he's not flying out. He's still here. He's still at Tottenham. He was training yesterday. So something doesn't seem right. Maybe there is other clubs that have gone, do you know what, Harry? Wait a year. Whatever Bayern Munich are offering, we'll double it. Just wait a year. We'll give you a massive signing on bonus and see it out. And maybe that's where Daniel Levy's got wind and panicked and gone, we want the money now. We can't lose this player for nothing.
Yeah, agreed.
I just think that's the sort of whole saga where it's all going to sort of keep stemming from. And it's just a circus that it's been going on for 6 weeks. And I said all along, the one person I feel so sorry for is the manager. I feel so sorry for the manager. The manager's had to deal with this absolute drama for so long. I just don't think it's been very fair on him. Mate, you've got to go in a few minutes. Any
other questions? I can stay for a few more.
No more. Put your questions in the chat if you want to. I'll put them up and I'll pin them up if you've got any questions in the chat, guys. And we'll go for another sort of 5 or 10 more minutes and stuff, and then we'll finish up. But what I will do, whilst we're waiting for those guys, whack your questions in, and we'll put them up and we can ask around. Team news. Who's your 11 to play against Spurs on Sunday?
Yeah, so I think it's going to be Flecken in goal. Seeing as we're at home, I do think we'll go for a 4-3-3, whereas in the past we've gone for 5 at the back against the bigger clubs. So it'll be Pinnock and me at the back, the solid 2. Rico Henry at left back, who looks like he's back from injury, which is brilliant. Aaron Hickey, right back, who had a fantastic game at Spurs last season. In midfield, the defensive mid situation is a bit 50-50. Norgard, our captain, is back from injury, but it might be a game too soon, so it might be Jan out. And it'll be with Jensen on one side and Damsgaard as well in the midfield, who will help with the high press. And then the front 3 will be Keane, Lewis, Potter on the left, Schade up top, and Mbeumo on the right. Decent side. I think that's where I think with us at the moment, it will be, I'm going with Vicario in goal. Right back, I'm going to go Emerson Royale. Then he'll go Romero. Then the next question is do you start Van de Ven from the start? I'm going to put Van de Ven in from the start. Udogie at left back. And then my midfield 3 is Basuma,
who I think is going to have an outstanding season this season. I think he's absolutely incredible. He's exactly what we needed, and Antonio Conte ruined him by not playing him in the way you should be playing a player like that in. And then you've got. I think he's going to go Skip. I think Skip's worked his way into the team. Maddison, and then a front three. This is the front three that rattles Tottenham fans, because I think we're going to go. I will caveat this with and without Kane. So I'll do 2 different front threes with and without Kane. I think he'll go. I think he goes. I'm going to go Solomon, Kane, Son. Without and if Kane isn't at the team, he'll go. I think he'll put Richarlison in instead. I was thinking maybe he might move Son down the middle. I think he should do that, by the way. I think Son should go down the middle. But let's see. And also, mate, what are your what's your score prediction? Go on, let's do that, and we'll finish off in a bit, and we'll do a bit of a score prediction.
Score prediction. Well, G-Tech, first game of the season. Fans absolutely buzzing, getting behind the team. Players pumped. It's gonna be 3-0 Brentford.
Oh, this is your delusion talking, though. You actually think you're going to You don't think Tottenham are going to score a goal? Really?
No, I don't see not getting past Ben Meany from Pinnock.
Trust me.
At the G-Tech.
The one thing I will never predict is Spurs to not score a goal this season. This is the one thing I think we will do. I think we'll concede a lot of goals, by the way. But I think we'll score goals. I predicted 2-2. I think a draw. I think we'll go 2-0 up and then concede 2 sloppy goals in the second half and lose and draw the game 2-2. But it's one of those with Tottenham this year. It could go either way. Tottenham could go and win 5-2 or could lose 6-1. It's as simple as that. We're going to score a lot of goals, but we're going to concede a lot of goals as well. And finally, we'll wrap it up in a couple of more minutes, because finally we'll say this: where are you finishing this season? Give me a position.
10th.
Okay, fair enough.
Where are Tottenham finishing?
7th. I think we're finishing 7th this year. But I will caveat that, depending on how the likes of Villa, Brighton, and Newcastle do in Europe this year, I think we could finish anywhere between 4th and 8th. I think this year. I think we're going to finish in that sort of, not in the top 5. We're going to finish just at the bottom of that, and just at the bottom of the top half. So we'll be in that sort of 4th to 8th region this year, I think. But the one thing I will for me at the moment and say is, I really do hope we just start giving a bit of time for this manager. This manager deserves time. It's going to be a long one. It's going to be a really long season for us, but it's going to be enjoyable because we're going to see some football. Not none of this sit back and counter attack when we've had very little of the ball. Put your in the chat what you think. 3-1 Spurs. I'm assuming that is Rinketic. I don't think you're.
Well, no, it's home team goes first, isn't it?
Oh, I see. We've got Ken is confident. Yeah, he is very confident. I don't know. We're going to kick Brentford, but I'll be impressed if we win. If we win, I'll be impressed. 4-1 win to Spurs by Sa. I like the confidence, guys. I'll be impressed. Anyone else? What you're chatting? Rinketti said not top 6, 7th. I think we'll finish there or thereabouts. Rinketti. I think we can finish anywhere between 4th and 8th. I was just trying to be realistic at the moment. I think it's going to be a tough season, but I think we're going to have a good time with some good football. Oh, mate, last words for you, mate. Let's wrap it up on your words.
But look, Harry Kane, is he going to start? Is he going to be in Munich by Sunday? Who knows? But the sad thing for Spurs, I'm afraid, is the G-Tech in August, first game of the season, is not the sort of place you want to be going to. The Brentford fans, the players, everything in that stadium will be rocking.
But I tell you what, it wouldn't shock me for Harry Kane to start and then score a hat-trick. It just wouldn't shock me. After all the talk and all this noise, it would just add more to the rumours if Harry Kane comes on and starts the game and scores a hat-trick.
Well, you never know. But
a few days ago.
But do you know how Brentford did in their first game last season at home?
Oh, did you beat Arsenal, right?
4-0 at home to United.
Oh, yes, I do remember this. Yes, I remember this. You did. You battered United. Yes, I remember this.
We might be without Tony, but we'll be fast out the blocks.
It's going to be a game. It's a game about the number 9s, really, that won't be there. It's going to be interesting, won't it, realistically? But listen, mate, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure. We've got to do this again later on in the season. See how we get on later on in the season. Listen, mate, I'm assuming you've got to enjoy the game on Sunday. Enjoy your game of the season, mate. Have a good season. Let's see how it goes, mate. It's going to be a good one. I think one thing I'll always say, though, for me, and I've always caveated this with Tottenham, we're going to play some good football. At least we're going to go and watch our team play some football again. And guys in the chat, thank you very much. I know we haven't got the massive crowd as we would. I know everyone else is streaming at the moment, and the Harry Kane drama in the saga is taking over a lot of Spurs YouTubers. So that is fine. Guys, go over. I think Henry Wright is live in about 15 minutes. He's going over there. So if you're in here,
who? Ian Wright.
Yeah, Ian Wright, Henry Wright TV. Henry Wright TV. Go over there and just he starts in about 15 minutes and stuff.
So don't waste your time. Have a good evening, everyone.
Enjoy your evening, guys. And mate, and as always, thanks for coming on. We're going to leave with the outro. We've got an outro, brand new outro. So we'll end on that. Guys, thank you very much. Enjoy it. And I will be back live tomorrow at midday. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good one. What are you doing?
And here's Kane! He sits on Tottenham's loftiest perch, beyond even the great Greaves. Spurs' most lavish scorer all